I hope you appreciate the bravery of these women as they share their stories, the pain that is in their heart. This is not an easy thing to share. So I appreciate your compassion for these women as they do speak. Our next speaker is Julie Thomas, and she is the Operation Outcry Director for the state of Georgia. Julie travels internationally to share her abortion story and volunteers locally in a pregnancy care center, giving back because of the compassion that she herself has been shown. She also teaches post-abortion recovery and at this pregnancy care center. Let's welcome Julie Thomas.
As a young, naive woman of 18 years old, I became pregnant. My boyfriend of 4 years wanted to get married and have a family. And at first, that's exactly what I wanted to do. And then fear started setting into me, and I began to think that maybe I was too young to be a mom. So I went to an abortion facility without anybody's knowledge except for the two friends that went with me. What I was looking for was advice. A woman in a lab coat, who I believed was a doctor just because she had a lab coat on, gave me advice that I was too young to be a mom. I could wait and have this baby later. She told me everything that I needed to hear to sell me an abortion. She told me over and over again it was not a baby yet. It was a blob of tissue. It wasn't a baby. We've caught it in time. Very soon after that, I was told that I was too far along to have an easy abortion. I would have to pay more money and spend the night in the hospital. I didn't have any more money. I was still living at home with my parents, who had no idea I was pregnant, so I couldn't proceed with that second trimester abortion. So I asked for my money back, told them that I was going to go home and tell my parents we were having a baby, and they wouldn't give me my money back, so I left. Anyway, went out to the car. This same woman with the lab coat on comes running after me and said, "Julie, wait, we made a mistake. We'll take care of your problem. You'll be on your way in an hour, and you'll never think about this problem again." So I followed her back in, and I had a first trimester abortion. A few weeks after that, I began bleeding very heavily, and I called and told them that. "No problem," they said, "you're just starting your period. Don't tell your parents. Don't go to the hospital. It'll stop in a few days." I believed him again. A week later, I was in the hospital. I had to have surgery because I had had an incomplete abortion, which simply means I was in my second trimester and I had a first trimester abortion. So having the first trimester abortion, my baby was too large to be sucked out of my body in a suction tube. So parts of my baby had been left inside of me. I was 18 years old. My doctor had told me that he had almost had to do a hysterectomy and that I had had a serious infection and I had to receive a lot of blood. At that time, I just knew that was too heavy of a burden for me to think about anymore. So I totally was going to put it out of my mind. For 24 years, I thought I did a very good job of that. Immediately after the abortion, this quiet, shy girl changed. I began to drink and take drugs on a regular basis. I had many unhealthy relationships with men. I was broken, and the only way that I could be fixed, I thought, was to have another baby. A baby to replace the baby that I'd taken part of killing. I was suffering from depression, anxiety, tremendous guilt, shame, sadness, and psychological numbing. I was emotionally numb. I became very overprotective of my children that I went on to have after my abortion, and I had an obsession with becoming pregnant again. Finally, 24 years later, 3 failed marriages, 2 children, a miscarriage, and a very dysfunctional life. I was 42 years old when a passionate friend told me out of the blue about 2 abortions that she had when she was in college. It's the first time I'd ever heard anybody say that, and how it greatly affected her life. I began to realize immediately the root of my dysfunctions, and my great sadness was because I greatly missed this aborted baby, and my life as an adult had changed drastically. I immediately told her my story, and my healing began immediately. After going through a post-abortion Bible study, I began to facilitate that same study to other women that had similar problems that I had. I also began to hear other stories of incomplete abortions, and I came to realize that was not extremely uncommon. I had almost died, as had many of these other women. Abortion kills a baby, destroys a woman, causes dysfunction in men, can cause a woman to have difficult relationships with her other children, destroys families. Babies, women, and men and families deserve better than abortion. It is time for the truth to be given to women and to men, and we are here to give you that truth.